So having heard some great examples of application areas and the big issues that we're facing, I'm going to step out and into theory a little bit in terms of how I think human factors can help us support urban mobility going forward. The problem that we were given, the context we were given was how are intelligent transport technologies and their service models going to impact urban mobility. And I would posit to you that our urban mobility systems are what Russell Ackoff called messes, all right, which sounds very damning, but it's just a term that means more complex, really, than a difficulty or a standard problem. A mess is made up from many systems, right? We know that for sure. The systems are socio-technical. There's a human bit and a technological bit. And they behave in hard-to-predict ways. Lots of the things that we're talking about, Margot saying, we were surprised with what we found in terms of behaviour, and that's why we need to be looking at these things in the round. So they behave in hard-to-predict ways if we just look at the constituent parts and don't look at them as a whole. So I generate the idea that really these urban mobility issues are messes. They're bigger, more complex, more uncertain, and we've heard about uncertainty, and ambiguous. They're less bounded and they're unstable. They change rapidly over time. That's the thing. These are dynamic and evolving situations, and therefore they need a different approach. And we've heard some great examples already of a different approach. But what is that, in theory, that different approach? Folks, you'll remember back in 2002, it's a big week for America, isn't it? And you'll remember back in 2002, the Secretary of State at that time, Donald Rumsfeld, famously talked about known unknowns and a variety of other things that we do or don't know. And I think this is a kind of helpful way of taking that idea and looking at urban mobility complexities in that light. I think difficulties or normal problems reside probably in the known, top right as you look at it, and the known unknown box. We either know what to do, or at least we know what we have to find out. And some of the issues that we find are there. I think messes, on the other hand, reside down to the bottom, and actually particularly bottom left. Any of you who deal with these problems may well have thought, I don't even know what I don't know. All right, you have that feeling, and we have to acknowledge that, rather than pretending that these things are amenable to simple solutions. They aren't, and we've heard about already some complex solutions and some intelligent ways of thinking about that. So I think this is really important, that we embrace the uncertainty rather than try and hide it. So I think a human factors approach is the way forward. Why do I think that? Because of these three things. First of all, it's human-centered. When we think about the enormous changes in the business models and the operating models and the technology, it's easy for those things to drive our future. Actually, we should be driving it, and we start with the needs and the abilities and the desires of the people in the system. Secondly, human factors is a design discipline, and just as we've heard from the two speakers already, we need to be designing this, not just receiving what comes. We've got to be human-centered in designing, and then last of all, I think this is the really kind of key part. We need to take a systems thinking approach and not simply reduce it to its constituent parts, but look at it and the emergent behaviours that come as a whole.